Hi guys, welcome once again. So now we will talk about varying activities, which means what are those various activities that we have just spoken about in the last video. So let's just understand it's going to be a very short video telling you about the various activities, including creating reports, correspondence, business correspondences, and presentations that you can create, and what all activities can be there in speaking, in writing. All right, so some speaking activities can be a job interview, a mock interview that can be scheduled. This is really important because mock interviews definitely help them, and it catches their area of interest also. Why? Because they are preparing themselves for the next role. So job interview is not necessarily in regards to um, that they are planning to leave the organization and they need to give the interview, but within the organization as well, whenever they are planning for the next role, it is important to crack the job interview, of course. And for that, you can just make them prepared. This can be a very good speaking activity and they will find it really interesting. And this will give them a lot of confidence in this. So in this, you can give them their introduction and talk about your experiences in business and so on and so forth. So this interview can go on round wise as well, like one round, second round, third round, like the exact job interview, the way it happens. Comparing and contrasting. This can be in relation to any particular product. You are comparing one product of the organization with the other product of the organization, or any contrast products. You can talk about both of them. Company rundown. You can talk about any company, any other business, and the rundown of that business if you are aware of, or maybe about your same business or same organization as well. If the business has come down, if the quantity, quality, anything that they think, of course, you need to ask them, you need to give them this activity, that which business do you think that is just coming down in terms of their qualities, providing qualities to the customers, or quantity, or in terms of anything else, in terms of virtue as well, like virtual aspect. Okay, talking about commuting and lifestyle. This can be a very general, light-hearted conversation out of the business scenario, of course, but this is also important because they need to ultimately learn developing skills to create connections also. Okay, so talk about commuting. How do you come to office, and generally, how do you commute? What's your lifestyle? What kind of a lifestyle that you prefer to have? Then writing activities can be resume writing, of course, because this is going to help them real time. Making slogans. This can be related to business, of course. Creating a business plan, business vocabulary building. In business vocabulary building can work in speaking and writing both. So you can give them a certain paragraph to write about using a particular set of vocabulary, or maybe a presentation, reading and watching business news. Now, again, make them watch a business news, make them watch a certain videos in relation to business, and then you can ask them certain question. This is going to resolve one more issue of accent problem. So a lot of students may have the accent problem. So if you're showing them videos and you're asking them questions then related to videos, then it is going to enhance their listening power, and they will be able to adapt better to the different accents when somebody is calling them and they need to explain certain things. And watching TED Talks. Watching TED Talks is again about watching videos. Let them watch TED Talks and ask questions in regards to that TED Talk, that what exactly the conversation was about. You can also ask them specific questions related to a particular TED Talk, or you can ask them then, about their opinion on that TED Talk. Then comes the presentation. It is essential for you to know how to give presentations. Now, presentation is going to help them in two ways, of course, building their confidence of public speaking. Okay, creating that eye contact. Second is non-verbal communication, because when you're giving presentation, you need to be very good with your gesture, with your eye contact, with your presence of mind also, because if you're giving presentation, then your audience may ask certain questions, and create certain environment when you're doing this activity wherein the rest of the students are ready with the questions from that presentation with which one student is giving, and then the role play can be exchanged. So this can be a very lengthy and good activity. Okay, not that only one person is always ready to give presentation and others are just sitting and asking questions. Cross-cultural communication. How would you come up with this now? Figure out if this business is in some other countries as well. What are those countries from where they get most of the client? Pick up the videos from that particular country's culture, different cultures that they follow, and then talk about it. Let them, first of all, when they will watch, they will understand that better, and then let them talk about this culture. Same goes for business also, like in general, what cultures do they follow, and in terms of business as well, do they have certain different languages that they use, certain different traditions that they use in terms of business. Debates and discussions, we have spoken about it before. Okay, you can give them debate related to business related topics and encourage them to talk about this, defend their opinions. Okay, one person can be of one business, other person can be of other business, and then they can talk about their businesses and prove themselves the best in the market or in the industry. Discussions help them improve conversation skills big time. Okay, also uh in the debate also you can use this, that the like two people are debating, of course, and the rest of the students, maybe they can ask questions. Whenever one person is representing one organization, the others can always ask questions, because rest just do not have to sit and watch. Listening and comprehension exercises, listening exercises, the one that I was talking about, give them podcast, TED Talks, presentations, interviews. So one exercise, actually one activity, can cover up two or three scenarios. Like two people are debating, the rest of the students need to listen to them, and they need to ask them questions in relation to what this person is speaking about. Okay, activities that assess listening skills and encourage comprehension of spoken English in professional settings. Okay, so presentations, podcast, interviews. Okay, you need to also work a little initially, of course, like you will have to listen to certain podcasts and you need to then ask questions. And if you're that clever and smart enough that you're listening to the podcast in the class while you're playing them for the students, please listen to all the podcast carefully, make your points, ask questions related to the podcast or any other video that you might be playing. Okay, mock interviews. Mock interviews help students prepare for job interviews, enhancing their ability to respond to common interview questions. Okay, now in the next video, we will talk about being a facilitator.